Shalom, it's your brother Yirach, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Lord will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom to the men of the Lord that are prophesying, that are preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom, shalom. This is a lesson that I saw that I want to do based on forgiveness, and I'll, Lord willing, it's edifying, relatively quick. I came across this article basically where this Edomite woman is trying to lecture the populace on forgiveness. Now, the reason this stuck out to me because you realize that when you see things like this, that it's times like these when I realize that now you know why they're called the devil, because this is the word devil goes back to the word deceiver, and this is just a massive ploy of deception. Ultimately that's what this is, because Esau is the least forgiving, the most vindictive people on the planet, really. You know, all this time they could never stop persecuting our people, Jacob, for something that they did, way back when. And really, what all this is just it's really just programming. They're using their power in this kingdom and media to push this narrative on Jake, forgive, 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 because they know what they did. When you read Revelation 13 and 10, it says, he that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. Well, they can't get around that, you know? Ultimately, that's what this goes back to. They can't get around what's coming. So they're trying to pacify Jake and put this forgiveness spirit on him, uh, in a way to try to stop what's coming, but they're not going to be able to stop what's coming, because even if every Jake on the planet wanted to turn around and hold hands with Esau, Edom, guess what? The Lord is still going to come and do what He's going to do. He's still going to come and destroy this place and enslave the so-called white people, which are the Edomites. As a matter of fact, if you're not with the program, even if you are an Israelite, you're going to get destroyed. You're going to come back in your right mind, but ultimately, you can't stop what the Lord is going to do. So, Lord willing, I'll get some precepts, and it's edifying, and I'll go through it quickly. It says, while forgiving someone else is really about you, it says forgiveness has a PR problem. Think about all those useless idioms used to describe it, stuff like forgive and forget and turn the blind eye, let bygones be bygones. With that kind of cheesy advice, no wonder so many people travel through life dragging a steamer trunk full of resentment because they don't understand the Holy Scriptures. See, they have a Christian-based society, but they don't understand context, and they don't understand, you know, what the Bible is actually saying. Only the men of the Lord who've been gifted with the truth and wisdom can discern these things. So you have this woman Anna Hola, which I have a image of this demon here. That's her. And what the hell does she know about forgiveness after all her people did? See, Esau, they'll have this. They'll try to keep this idea of forgiveness, but really what they're trying to do is make themselves feel better. Forgiving somebody is not about making yourself feel better. It's about doing the right thing. It's about doing what the Lord commanded you to do. It's about righting a wrong. It's for the betterment of society, really. But they'll have this, you can't move on unless you forgive somebody, trying to guilt you, saying if you want to stop experiencing pain, then you got to forgive the person that caused you that pain. See, Esau's slick and trying to program that into us, you know, and she goes on and on and on, and with these points, tell your story, dissecting the offending behavior and how it affects you, and number two is feel the feelings, bring a fresh like feeling the feelings got nothing to do with forgiveness, man. It's about doing the right thing, you know. It's about not letting your feelings rule over you. It's not about feeling them. It's about not letting your feelings rule over you. So let me get some precepts on what is the purpose of forget? Why does the Lord tell us to forgive? Well, first of all, you need to understand that the Lord instructed us Israelites to only deal with each other. We only deal with forgiveness among other Israelites. And why does the Lord tell us to preach forgiveness? He says, "He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance." So that's enough reason right there alone to not deal in vengeance against your brother, to forgive. That right there, because the Lord told us to forgive. That's how we stay a nation. That's how we don't break apart with strife and fighting and infighting. There's an account where the tribe of Benjamin, they went totally off, man, and almost got exterminated. There's a few hundred Benjamites left, and the Lord had to raise them back up, man. And it wasn't an ideal way because they had to take those women. I believe those women of Ephraim. And that's a major, situation there. Verse 2 says, "Forgive thy neighbor." So that's the context. Thy neighbor. Who is your neighbor? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he hath done unto thee. So shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. So if he's your brother, especially if he's in the truth and he knows he's an Israelite, and he does something to offend you, and y'all both trying to walk earnestly in the truth, man, this is what you were commanded to do ultimately. So this is what the Lord means when he says forgiveness. But a lot of times what you'll hear these Christians go to, they'll go to this right here. They'll go to Matthew with you've heard the phrase turn the other cheek. This is Matthew 5:38. It says, "Ye have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." Now, why is, I believe this is let me get in the red letter. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. Um Now he says, why is he saying that? Because Yahweh Shai is referencing the law. See, the law doesn't tell us to just forgive. The law tells us if someone takes from you, something that has to be taken from them. But see, Yahweh Shai is preaching wisdom here. He cites the law several times, and then he gives us wisdom on how to get around it. It says again up here, and again, ye have heard that it hath been said of them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but thou shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. He says, but I say unto you, swear not at all. So it seems like Yahweh Shai is giving us advice against the law, but really what he's doing is informing us the wise way on how we should move as a brotherhood. Once this gospel, once after he's gone, and how we to conduct ourselves. Let me move back down. It says, "But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also." So the Lord is basically telling you, hey, if your brother he smites you, turn the other cheek. You know, move expediently, and that even with other nations it says, "And if a man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also." So why is the Lord telling us to do this? Well, this is the main context here. This is Matthew 5:25. It says, "Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison." So this is the context that why Yahweh Shai is telling us this. And it goes on, man. It says, "Ye have heard that it was said of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment." It says, "But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment." Now, see, the Christians will take this as Yahweh Shai rewriting the law, and he's doing away with the law, so to speak. But they don't understand that the Lord, he spoke deeply. He had dark sayings, and you need context and wisdom and understanding to discern these things. He's not going against the law. What he's giving us is wisdom on how to move especially in these days. See, this word is living water. It lives, it's relevant back then, and it's relevant even today, right now, you know? And I believe I can find it where it says, Salakia, yeah, it says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So he tells you this in verse 17 before he goes down here, and it seemingly looks like he's telling us to do things that go against the law. So again, let me recap this real quick, where it says, ye have heard that it have been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That's the law. That's in Torah. It says, but I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. So Yahweh Shai is not telling us to go against the spirit of the law. He's telling us how to move around it in these latter days, because he knew the situations that we would be in. And really he's really only dealing with Israel, you know? So Esau Edom can't get around this idea that that he can be forgiven. You know, he'll try to put this on you. Turn the other cheek. If any man sue thee at the law, take away thy coat and give him, like, that don't apply to you. You know, Esau, what you have it can't be undone. There is not a single Israelite on the planet that can undo the will of the Most High or can stop the will of the Most High. It don't matter if everybody wants to forgive you, that the forgiveness is not for you. All right, and I'll prove that right here. It says actually I wanted to get Psalms 83 when it says agree with thine adversary quickly. Let's see who our adversaries are, because I have it here in Psalms 83. It says for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. He's talking about our enemies. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, and that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that's what Esau Edom did along with the other nations. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And who does he name? The tabernacles of Edom. You're the first one listed right there. And the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, and Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher is also joined with them. They have Holpen, the children of Lot, Salah, is do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook in Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. So that's who our adversaries are. So when it says agree with them, he's talking about you. Ultimately, this is the Lord giving us wisdom on how to move with forgiveness. So this whole idea of forgive and all of this, Esau doesn't understand it. He's trying to program you to be passive and docile, But there's nothing that he can do to escape his judgment. And I'll prove that here in Romans 9. This is Romans 9 and 10. And it says, and not only this, but when Rebekah had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, it says, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So it ain't us. The Lord is saying you don't have free will in this situation. He says, you didn't choose me, I chose you. I called you. Everything you do is because of me. Everything you're allowed to do, I allowed it. It says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Now what can you do if the Lord hates you? If the Most High hates you, that's it. It says, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. So the Most High is not unrighteous for hating Esau. He created him. He can do it. He can do whatever he wants, man. Ultimately, it says, "For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." So Esau, you can't force the Most High to forgive you, man. You can't force Jake or Israelites to forgive you by making up some rule. You know, you can't just be sorry and repent and think the Most High owes you forgiveness, man. The Lord said He's gonna have mercy on who He's gonna have mercy on. Verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. So it really doesn't matter what your opinion is on this whole forgiveness thing. So you trying to come and pacify people, and they've been doing this for years in Christian churches, and I grew up with it. Just forgive, 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 no matter what. But the Lord is telling us on how to move in that regard. And I'm going to prove it further that Esau is not going to be forgiven. So if that's the law of forgiveness, why did the Lord prophesy you're going to be done away with? This is Obadiah 1 and 18, and it says, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken it." you know so how do you get around that you're going to be done away with? So can you be forgiven? Is there any point in forgiving you at all if the Lord is set against you? Is already written. He's already written it in the fabric of you know of the earth, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's already written. Verse 19, it says, "And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain of the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead." So y'all gonna be a possession, and then the Lord's gonna do away with you, man. Ultimately that's what this is. So be cautious and weary, because we all know Esau, Edom. They like to spew this rhetoric of forgiveness, forgive, 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 when they don't really understand who it's talking to, what the context is, and why the Lord told us to forgive each other. You know. So hopefully I wasn't too all over the place. Y'all were edified, Lord willing. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash Wa Abad Babal.